Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here with some crazy news. One of the fairly big competitors to Magic the Gathering, Metazoo, just abruptly shut down out of nowhere. People are saying, how could this have happened? I didn't see it coming. Well, then you have been not paying attention for the last 2 years. It hasn't been doing great, but it's not like they've been, publicly publishing their sales numbers or something. I don't know. I haven't paid too close of attention. When it first came out, I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. It's kind of got like a sense of humor. It's like Pokemon meets Magic the Gathering meets a sense of humor. But I think, like a lot of you guys, I'm just not interested in another TCG. That's why I never branched out. And I'm not going to sit there and pretend to be into multiple TCGs just to get views and pretend to be excited. I just can't do that. I'm just not Rudy from Alpha Investments, guys, who honestly was never even that into MTG. He's into investing, guys. He didn't play the game. Just don't even get me started. So he made a hilarious video, and I don't mean there was any comedy content in it. It was just him going like, oh, could this have happened? This is awful. Oh my God. And then just like leaving. Any amount of money you lost on it, you deserve it. You're a terrible person, you backstabbing piece of garbage. And to think me and him used to get along when he had like 4,000 subs and I was hyping him up and I'm like, yeah, fight the machine. And then I found out what kind of person he was. He will backstab anyone and do anything for money. He is a liar and a scumbag. And if he gets involved in your TCG, it's already dead. Someone should tell that to those morons at Flesh and Blood. So I can't tie this failure directly to Rudy, but I can tie it to their declining sales. I mean, there you go. Declining popularity, declining sales. They can't move products. And the last nail in the coffin, as far as we can gather, was the Hello Kitty tie-in set that they just did. It just did not sell. Nobody was interested in it. And then word is they were having trouble actually paying the company who owns the Hello Kitty IP their actual cut, because it didn't sell enough to even cover the cut, and then the shipping and the margins and all that stuff. So that was it. That's what did them in. Weeks later, they shut down pretty much. I mean, if you can't pay your bills, you can't pay your staff, you can't pay your rent, why draw it out further? You got to get out earlier. So good for them cutting it off, but I heard that they currently owe a lot of people a lot of money, so they probably should have gotten out sooner, but I guess they thought, oh, maybe this will be the one that explodes. Dude, Hello Kitty hasn't been popular in like 10 years. So in my opinion, with the limited knowledge I have of this, what happened was they came out, people were like, oh, cool, this is going to be, like the meme set. This is going to be like Magic the Gathering if they had a sense of humor. A lot of people were making a lot of hype. A lot of YouTubers jumped on it because they're like, I want to be the next OG MTG person, but there's already too many MTG people and I don't care about the game. Oh, here we go. New game. Cool. Let's latch on to this. And it had that hook. It had that like, oh, look at this crazy card. Look at this crazy artwork. It had everything going for it to be a tiny, minuscule micro MTG and then maybe grow over time. So kind of like MTG started out is why I made that comparison. But yeah, it could have been one of those TCGs that just kind of sticks around, They know their place, they know their size, and there's no way to just get hyper aggressive with it when people are kind of done with TCGs. They know how expensive they are, and people just kind of gave them up across the board during COVID. And now if it ain't online, they ain't interested. So yeah, paper cards and all that. But then they started getting real big, real popular, a lot of free press, a lot of free coverage, started partnering with people and giving them previews and getting all buddy-buddy with the creators and stuff, which, okay, whatever. But then the investors came in, the speculators, I want the new alpha. I want to sit on it for 10 years and sell it for $1,000 a box. And then when it started happening, way more people got into it. I know people who had some like initial stuff that were selling for several $100s per sealed box. But then they all kind of cooled off. People found better stuff to invest in. People realized it's just not that good, and it started to tip over. And this is exactly what happened when, the Holland tulip bulb thing or whatever. You either know or you don't, but the short version is they all finally realized that it was just speculators and investors selling to each other, and there was no actual demand for it anymore. So the price went up, and it was like hot potato. The last one holding the bulb gets burned. And that's what happened. So when investors are selling to each other, like, well, it's a first edition, they're not going to reprint it, it's only going to go up. And then, the whole thing fails. Like, look at L5R, Legend of Five Rings. I've got, 10,000 cards of that somebody gave me for free, and I still can't sell them. There is zero value. And I bet people bought that up too in bulk. It's one of those long shot things where you put 3% of your portfolio towards it, And I almost don't even blame the creator. What do? You can ultra limit the print runs so that it doesn't get out of control and people don't try to flip it when it doesn't, make money within 5 seconds. And that prevent them from flooding the market, but it would just make scalpers. I mean, look at the Nintendo Wii when it came out. They didn't make enough. Same with the Switch. Same with almost everything. I mean, they don't make enough, and then people scalp them. And then the company gets all mad because there's these middlemen making 30% on their, multi-million-dollar project and product release, and it's not going into their pockets because they're too stupid, careless, and just everything to make enough of their damn product. So they could do that. They could go ultra limited, but then it's even more not going to get in the hands of the players. You need players, okay? Investors aren't going to tell other people to get into it. They want to keep quiet. They don't want their investor friends also buying up this product. So they're all hush-hush about it. Now, other people, they're like, hey, Metazoo's exploding in so-and-so city. Hey, there's a Metazoo event. Hey, there's 2 Metazoo tournaments. Hey, there's this thing on Facebook, You get a 1 million-person city, you can get 50 people to play anything. And as long as it's fun, they stick around, and you get these, dumb meme lords with a sense of humor like me who would show up to the tournament and have a good time, whether the card game is good or not, but then fundamentally have, a card game that's playable. Arguably, Pokemon isn't a very well-balanced or good TCG, but it's still Pokemon, and there's still people playing it because they just show up and have fun with each other. It's more about the social thing. It's like I said about the MTG pre-releases, you show up, you have fun with other people, and if the set's terrible for sealed or your pool is awful, you still have a good time. I had one of the worst pools ever with Ixalan, and it's one of the best I've ever been to because the people there were absolute meme lords. Where I was dicking around, trading Pokemon, in Pokemon Go, and just ordering food and stuff, just telling jokes. It was just whatever. We could have been playing pool for all I care. The game almost didn't matter, but it got people there. That's the thing about Magic. It has that pull where the people are going to show up. Now with Metazoo, it was people are going to show up who have a good sense of humor because it was a very unserious game. So they had a solid foundation. What they needed to do was focus on promoting events and do sponsorships. We held a pretty big LAN party at my college, and we got NVIDIA to, kind of sponsor it. So they didn't send out some cards to give away, but at the second one they would have, because they said, we'll take pictures, we'll give you some stickers, some fan grills, some flash drives. They gave us some cool stuff, $100 worth of stuff. And they said, take pictures and we could probably send way bigger stuff, or even send out a rep. We could send out a regional person. We'll send out banners. I mean, we'll send out stuff way better if you have a second event, because then you can prove it. If they did a system like that, not even the Wizards Play Network, all this, stuffy, numbers and do better, and it's all just a treadmill that gets you nowhere. Just be hey, we'll send you a bunch of posters, we'll send you a bunch of prizes, we'll send you one-of-a-kind stuff, we'll send you serialized miniatures, we'll send you, sarcastic, phrases on plaques on little miniature, gold cup trophies, something that kind of fits their vibe. That's what they should have done. And for all I know, they were doing that. It didn't work, but I don't know. I didn't hear nothing about that. Promote. Spend so much money on marketing the events. Cause if you don't have a person to play with, I would stop just short of throwing the damn event myself. That's 50 grand, that's 100 grand, depending on how you do it. But if you throw it close to your headquarters, keep it cheap, and you're man, let's get this regional thing going, then you post pictures, and you got social media, then you got the people that are there posting on their own social media, and a cascades of people that looks like fun. What is that? Oh, it's only $10 entry instead of 100, and it's Comic-Con or some Magic thing? Well, shoot. And then you get all this mass. And the only way to really do that is to reinvest every penny you've got and run it super cheap, or get outside investment, get private speculative, what do they call it, venture capital stuff. A venture capital for a card game, good luck. But after a year, they had the volume. They could have done it. So I think whatever they were doing, I don't know what it was. It wasn't as good as the proper way to promote something like this. Now, if they were promoting a restaurant, if they were promoting a shoe, if they were promoting jewelry, all three of those have completely different marketing plans. So just they let it get stale. They tried a bunch of stuff. It was failing. They didn't know what to do. And then they realized all their sales were just going to investors, and it was too late. They had no actual player base. And it sounds like they're not able to pay their bills, so they didn't just okay, we're on our way down, let's just cut it. Cut it early, take the money, jump out the window with a golden parachute. Okay, that's what the Silicon Valley thing would be. Or sell it off to someone and make it their problem. And make the numbers look really peachy. Well, they didn't do that. Now look where they are. So it's kind of a shame. I tried to look up why do people hate Metazoo, because I have heard people are you got to get into it. It's kind of funny. It's geeky. It's like MTG but unserious, and you can actually have a good time. It's not run by complete dicks. And I'm oh, my ears perk up. But I've also heard a ton of people oh, Metazoo again. Number 1, 2, and 3 complaints were it's just investors. Investors buy everything. It's another cash grab, stupid thing where they buy up it all, and it's just like the DBZ game, the Final Fantasy game, the Flesh and Blood, where it's all about money, 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 money. Everybody just wants money. Everybody wants alpha. Everybody wants to sell the singles, scalp them, buy them, all that. And the only way to get immune to that is like, hey, there's only 1,000 of these, and then there's 100,000 of the playable version. So the playable version is $1, and the highly collectible one is $1,000. So real quick, the other 2 reasons are they didn't like the community. They didn't like some toxic members of the community. And then the 3rd reason is everybody who plays a different game saw it as a direct threat. What if people start moving over to that? Then less people will play the one that I'm playing. And all across the board, those are all going down right now in popularity pretty much. But the investor thing was big. Once you get it's all just an up-down, snap it up, I can't even afford to play it. Now I can't afford to play it twice as much because investors are involved. I'm not even going to touch it. Once you get that attitude, you're gone. It's just, and you stick them in, you get lottery cards and people bulk open and sealed, you get the sealed premium, and it's just, there you go. Everybody gets what they want. That is the only way to do it. That's why when Magic started first doing that with the hyper rares, I'm like, okay, then the showcase frames, I'm like, okay, let the collectors and the whales buy the showcase frame, and it'll make me, with the most common version of the card, have to spend less on the game. It's a win-win, and the WotC gets money in their pockets. And then they went way too far with it, and they did a bunch of other stuff to piss people off, and they burned the company to the ground. So did Metazoo do this? I have no idea. I know nothing about the actual practical paper structure of the game. My guess is probably not. But yeah, really hard to get a community to do anything. I mean, look at the number of people that play Pokemon Go. And then I've heard in cities with like 10, 20,000 people that they can't even get enough people to do a raid. Like if you need 3 people for a raid, like 3, 4, 5 right now with Latias, holy crap. There could be 2 gyms in the whole city and you still can't get enough people. Now you go to like New York City or, my city, which is a little bit bigger. Yeah, you get some people. Like you get community day, you still get like a couple hundred, depending on weather. But that game had like, I want to say between 40 and 100 million active players. That makes Magic the Gathering look like nothing. And we're still having events fail to fire in Pokemon Go once in a while in some regions around me. That's why paper TCGs, it's impossible. I don't think they cared that they were selling only to investors. I think they tried to string that along as long as possible. They knew damn well who their customer base was. And they're just like, whatever, if it works, it works, until they all realized nobody is actually playing this game. Nobody, when I try to liquidate out, if I'm selling singles, nobody's buying them. If I sell them sealed, I sell to another investor. Red flags, and then everybody dumps. And that's what I heard is the last couple months, everybody dumped hard. Everybody has been liquidating inventory at least for the last 2 years. And the prices, the scalp prices, the sealed premium stuff have been going down like crazy. And there's just nothing they could have done about it. But when they saw it happening and they saw the numbers, they should have said, okay, we've got 8 months out and we'll be unsustainable and we'll be in the red. So let's try some last ditch effort stuff, some publicity stunts, maybe do a couple fake controversies or something, whatever. See if we can revive it, go a different direction, milk it a little bit longer. Otherwise, we're out at 3. Okay, we can't wait 8 months. They waited until they couldn't pay their bills. That was stupid. That was a classic business mistake. But see, I guess the creator, his name is Mike. I don't know much about him, but he probably isn't like a hardcore crazy marketing business person. And it sounds like he didn't listen to them either. Or didn't hire them, didn't do nothing with that. Sounds like he's a meme lord and he likes games and math and he made what he made and he just didn't know how to go full business with it. And now he's got a lot of debts. I mean, it's not that hard to close like an LLC, but yeah, it's going to get ugly. You basically have to declare bankruptcy and then, yeah, it gets really bad. So I kind of feel bad for him, but I mean, if any business fails and it seems even vaguely within your power to have done something different and you had all the time in the world, I don't really feel that bad. But hey, if you want to pick up a bunch of products, dirt cheap now. So, yeah, this might be a reverse exit scam too. I got to throw that in where they're like, we're shutting down. Everything goes super clearance. Their friends buy it all up. Their associates, friend of a friend, longtime members, content creators, people they know, family members, all kinds of, funnel it to them kind of stuff. And then they announced that they're selling Metazoo. At the last second, they found somebody to buy Metazoo, and they're going to revive it. Whoa, kind of like Keyforge. I don't think that was a reverse exit scam, but It was interesting. It didn't work either, by the way. But if they relaunched it, they just found somebody like 50 million to throw at it and really went hard. Oh, man. After all this free publicity, which is usually how this scam works, oh boy. So if that happens, scrutinize it real damn close. So thanks for watching, everybody. Gonna have a Pal World stream coming up shortly after this goes live, and I'll see you guys next time.